Today, we will be conducting Internet Torch. I will be your judge with guest judges Ida Kim, Hangry Dog John, and Curb Gone Fishing. The internet is for everyone, and everyone wants to be a part of the internet. Today, we are diving into the weird world of people who want to be judged by the internet. I have scrounged to the deepest depths of Reddit to find the best and worst Am I the Asshole posts, and I'm bringing them to our judges today so that we can conduct an official court hearing. Today, we decide who is the asshole. You guys ready to dive in?
Yes.
Bop you.
Okay. I decided to start with a interesting one. This is technically not from Am I the Asshole, by the way. This was originally posted to Am I Wrong? And then was reposted to Am I the Devil? Which is where people can repost the worst of the worst posts on the internet. Am I wrong for finding comfort in my late wife's twin sister? My wife...
Title already.
So just based off title, thoughts?
Oh gosh.
I mean, as long as it's a fantasy and not IRL, I guess it's okay.
Okay, well, let's see how it actually goes. My wife passed away in a horrific car accident 8 months ago, leaving myself and our 3-year-old daughter behind. I was far too depressed to do anything, much less care for my daughter properly, so my sister-in-law, her twin sister, essentially moved in to help out. While sobbing about my wife's death together, one thing led to another, and we ended up having sex. After the first time, we both felt nauseated with guilt, but soon came to realize that it was helping both of us cope. She's so much like my wife that when I'm with her, I'm able to kind of forget what happened. It's temporary relief, but relief nonetheless. She grew to believe that she was doing a good thing by helping me cope and be a better father to my daughter. It's been a regular thing up until now. I feel obviously conflicted about it. No one can know what's going on as it might tear our family apart, but it's helped me to not demonetize myself. And I have been a much better father/member of society since we began. I don't know if I'm prepared to stop. Help me see things objectively. How fucked is this? What do you guys think?
Can I phone a friend?
No. You guys are my friends that I phoned.
Oh, I don't see it as a bad thing.
Kim's face just
Hard
now.
disagree, man. Because listen, it's the sister of the dead wife, right? And they had a kid. So if they get together, the kid's stepmom is the aunt.
By marriage. Not.
Ew,
no,
what?
It is the kid's mom's twin sister, so it would be aunt by blood.
So it's identical twin sister?
They didn't specify identical. They've just said
I was gonna say
twin.
you could joke with the
I mean,
kids
a
and
twin
say she
is-
went on vacation and, the aunt's out of the picture. Like the new mom.
Just replace mom, just pretend like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, with the aunt. Yeah.
No!
I mean, they're 8 years old. You can think of something. They'll believe it.
Are you telling me you don't remember your childhood when you were 8 years old?
Okay,
'Cause
I just wanna
remember
correct
when I
something.
was 8 years old.
It was-
I didn't think you would
Remember what I did
know.
yesterday
Your
morning.
mom died.
It's a 3-year-old daughter.
Oh, okay. I mean, you would
I was
remember
8
that,
years
but that's
old.
still weird.
But everyone else in your family and friends and everyone in your life will know that your wife passed away.
And then
I
you
mean,
replace her with
I
her
can't-
sister.
Real talk, I can't see that being a bad thing because with a 3-year-old who just lost someone you love, I don't. How are you supposed to pick up the pieces like that? You definitely need help. So I'm not going to say he's a bad guy for, having sex. Do they love each other? I'm assuming they love each other, right?
He not specified. Curb, any thoughts?
It's weird.
That's it. Just it's weird.
100% weird.
All right, so he added an edit to his original post. I didn't specify that the first time we slept together was a month after her passing. Yes,
That's
it was.
really soon.
Yes, it was very sick in hindsight, and we both regretted it deeply. It didn't happen again for another 2 months, and then continuously until today.
Well, the alcohol and emotions are high at that point, right? Things happen. A month, that's the short time, but
It takes at least a week to plan a funeral, so it couldn't have been more than 2 weeks after her funeral.
Oh gosh, that's so messed up. That's so messed up.
I don't know if this is a healthy coping
I'm
mechanism.
dying on this hill, but I don't think he's a bad person for being with the twin sister.
Do you
I
think
John is
it's not?
wrong.
It's not the post, but do you think the twin sister is an asshole for taking advantage of this mourning man and sleeping with him?
No, but is she taking advantage of him? Like, we don't know what her side of the story is. She moved in to help him with the kid.
We know that he was too depressed to do anything, and that his sister-in-law moved in to essentially help out, and that while sobbing about my wife's death together, one thing led to another.
Now, is the sister married? That's what we need to know.
It's not specified, so I'm going to assume no, because that would be a whole nother layer onto this.
We're good. That would be a fantastic layer, and she would 100% be wrong. But yes, I don't see anything wrong with them.
So this is why I needed an odd number of jurors on the internet court, is so that there were not ties. But there was an update. He posted a second post follow-up. Update. I talked to my sister-in-law, which ended in both of us in bed together once again. I don't think we can cut things off quite yet. It seems like a majority of the criticism is about how this will affect my daughter, which is very understandable. We've just decided to take better care to keep our relationship private for as long as possible until we're ready to move on. No updates after that.
See, like, what age is the child's brain, like, really understanding?
No,
I would
okay,
say
put yourself
9,
in the
8,
shoes
9.
of like the rest of the family. Okay, so the mother of the twins, this is her son-in-law, right? And imagine the thoughts and feelings of this like mother-in-law, for example, or the mom, for example, being like, "Oh, one of my twin daughters is dead, but my son-in-law is marrying his sister-in-law because they were already married."
But imagine it from like,
So weird.
what would the deceased wife think? Is like, you didn't wait
I think she
more
would
than
be
a
happy.
month since I died before you're already sleeping with my
Move on
sister?
To my sister.
The sleeping a month after, that's... You kind of got a little...
I understand if like after a couple years they come together, but less than a month after she's dead, he is sleeping with her twin sister.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
Emotions
Final
are high.
answer. It's so weird.
So is he the asshole?
Yes. I mean,
Herb,
he's a
you're
weirdo
the
in
deal
this
breaker.
situation.
No, it's weird. We'll go with he's the asshole.
So the internet's verdict was to take it beyond asshole, and it was reposted onto the Am I the Devil subreddit, which voted him as an asshole above assholes. But I guess we know not to let John marry any of our siblings, because otherwise
Unless you have twin sisters.
that's true.
Okay, but so hold on, John. You're telling me
Yes.
you got married. You were married.
Yes.
You've been married for like 3 years because they had a 3-year-old child. Okay, so we're just like saying they were married when they had a kid.
Mhm.
You're telling me the 3-year-old your wife passes away. You're gonna sleep with her sister within a month.
Not within a month, no. That's not me. I
Because
can see...
that's the bad part. Yeah, no, you sleep
I
with your
can
sister, but you wait a couple of months first.
Well, if she moves in, like, you're just naturally going to start getting along with each other, and it's going to go farther and
You're
further.
getting along with each other, not sleeping with each other. I'm so
Right, so,
passionate
like,
about
he
this.
was
And
100% wrong for...
he makes a
doing it
point to
month
say
after her death.
they slept together a month after. Then in his update or his edit, he said it didn't happen again for 2 more months. And then in his word, continuously until today. So there is just, he wants us to know that it's happening a lot.
See, I don't think he's an asshole for doing it. I think he's an asshole for posting it on Reddit. Because he obviously wants everyone to know. It's not that he wants help figuring it out. If he wanted help, he'd go to a psychiatrist.
I think both people in this scenario could definitely benefit from some therapy. All right, let's move on to some living relationships. Am I the asshole for telling my wife to be less emotional when cooking? Just from the title, what do you think?
I feel like I just saw a TikTok of this, and it was of the red flag guy being like, "Dude, this is the biggest red flag in the whole world." You guys know
The
this
dude who
red
runs
flag
around
guy
with the
on
flags in the field?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Like I just saw his TikTok.
Well, then you might have a little preview into this. All right, into the story. Earlier today, my wife texted me that she found a recipe in a magazine she was reading last week and that she wanted to try making it. She insisted on stopping by the store on her way home from work to buy the ingredients. This annoyed me because I planned out the meals for that week, and I previously requested that any deviation from this schedule be communicated to me at least 1 week in advance. Nonetheless, I let her try to cook. When she got home, she got right to work, chopping vegetables, boiling water, etc. I work from home and I needed to finish a few things, so I left her to cook in the kitchen. About an hour later, my wife came and got me. She led me to the kitchen and seemed to be very pleased with herself. It smelled and looked delicious, and she even poured us glasses of red wine and lit some candles. From the first bite, though, I knew that something had gone terribly wrong. She had made a chicken and noodle casserole, and it tasted very salty, almost like pickles. I spat out my forkful and calmly but firmly asked her what she had done. I was struggling to get the taste out of my mouth. She walked up to the recipe and deciphered that she had added 1 tablespoon of salt instead of 1 teaspoon. I told her that she was too excited about the recipe and that she let her emotions take over. I reminded her that if she had controlled her emotions, she wouldn't have sped through the recipe and likely wouldn't have made such a silly mistake. My wife turned red and looked down at the floor. All she could muster was, I just wanted something nice. I got up from the table, scraped all the inedible food into the trash, and ordered a pizza. At this point, I was in no mood to return to my original food schedule. When I was done ordering, I asked my wife how she would avoid doing such a thing when she cooked in the future. My wife seemed angry about the question and said I should just drop it. I refused. I told her that she had wasted our money on these ingredients only for us to throw her entire dish away. I asked her if she even cared about how that made me feel, but she just shook her head and angrily stormed out of the room. I've been trying to get her to speak to me for a few hours, but she just wants to pout. I get so tired of her ridiculous behavior, and I feel incredibly disrespected by her. I guess she wants me to apologize, but I was the one who ultimately saved dinner. Am I the asshole?
Now listen here, dude. Like, let's be honest. Number one, you're an idiot. You already know she can't cook. That's who you married. You should know that within dating, okay? Obviously, you just got to order out 3 nights, 4 nights a week. All right. Deal with the other 3 nights how you will. Number two, a teaspoon and a tablespoon—that's not a big difference, dude. She didn't take the salt shaker, the Morton salt shaker, right? Open the tab and just pour that shit all over. All over. She didn't do a little bit of this or anything, right? You're going to complain over that? Bro, I better not see him on the street.
My
That's
favorite.
so real. She's trying to do such a
Adam.
nice thing as well. Like she was excited. Like let her try something new. Don't like. That's so annoying.
I'm actually hot right now.
my
That just pissed me off. Like that whole
favorite thing was trying to watch Kim's reaction throughout the whole story and seeing all the facial expressions that went on, as well as her face at the beginning of John's answer.
Yeah, I thought John was gonna agree again. I was like, John. No.
No, like, are you serious? You're going to say it's salty like pickles? Get out of here, bro.
A teaspoon and a tablespoon are not that much of a difference. I don't usually even measure
Exactly.
salt whenever I'm using a recipe. I just sprinkle it in and call it a day.
Next time she should throw the salt at his head.
Kim, I think you have a lot to say about this.
I don't really have a lot to say, to be honest. It's just like the very first line when you were like, he called her emotional. I went, oh my gosh, that's so mean. What the heck?
I
I
like the
think
line
she
when he
should
was
get
like,
divorced.
any deviations from our schedule needs to be approved a week in advance. It's like, what?
Here's the thing. He posted this on Reddit, so he got to tell the story from his own point of view and paint himself in the best light possible. And he still came off as an asshole in every one of these paragraphs individually.
The way you read it also made him seem an asshole.
I read what he wrote. Some of his phrases that he would use are just wild to me. She said, just drop it. I refused. I told her she had wasted our money on these ingredients only for us to throw her entire dish away. No, you threw it away over a half a teaspoon too much salt in an entire casserole. So what are we thinking?
Asshole.
Obviously.
Is there another thing?
So I did not disclose. This one was also reposted to Am I the Devil? He was decidedly such an asshole that they moved him to devil status as well. This next one is a little bit more difficult, I think. I expected the first two to be pretty cut and dry, but there was some discussion in these conversations. But this next one, I had to sit and think about it for a second. Am I the asshole for spending my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer like I always threatened, instead of giving it to his stepbrother after he passed away? A little complicated. Any initial thoughts?
Pause. T. Hold. Okay, Dad.
You want me to read the
takes
title again?
Takes money from university from his son.
Am I the
His
asshole for
step-
spending my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer like I always threatened, instead of giving it to his stepbrother after he passed away? All right, let's get into it, because I see
The reaction is no, because you were saving it for your son, and like he's not here anymore. So the initial reaction is no, but I want to listen.
it's a
He's an
toughie.
asshole just because he went to. Like, if it was a family thing, okay, I see it. Right. Your boy's not the brightest of the bunch. Right.
That's fair.
So he's an asshole just for going by himself.
All right. So I had to correct some of the wording and punctuation in this one to make it fully readable, because it was a little
They're clearly
broken
not
up.
Geniuses. He wasn't going to university.
But he actually goes into that. So let's get started. My son was smart, smarter than me. I almost requested a paternity test because he was so damn intelligent. That is a joke. He put it in all caps. My ex and I divorced when he was about 12. She remarried when he was 14, and I did when he was 16. I had an RESP set up for him. That's an education fund in Canada. As long as he went for post-secondary education, he could use the money for anything. I always told him that I was okay with him not going to university. That way I could use the money I saved up for him to go to Belgium and buy some beer from Monks that only allowed you to buy one case. He knew I was joking and he always played along. He wouldn't let me get his goat. When he got accepted to McGill, it was the proudest moment of my life. I took him out for a beer to celebrate his achievement and mourn the loss of my Europe trip. My son was struck and killed by a drunk driver in March. I'm dealing with it. My ex is dealing with it. My wife has been nothing but my rock in this. She is holding me up. I was dealing with the funeral arrangements and everything when my ex came to me to talk about his money. She knew he had a scholarship and was just going to use the money for living expenses and an emergency fund. She asked me what I was going to do with it. I said I was going to do what I always said I would. I was going to go to Europe to drink beer. She asked if she could have it for her stepson. I thought about it and said no. Her husband is a decent enough person, but he made it clear that he wasn't responsible for any expenses for my son. Beyond food and shelter and stuff, obviously. Like I said, he's decent. I said I was not going to do that. I was going to go drink beer in my son's honor. She says I'm wasting thousands of dollars, and I guess I am. I have to give back the government portion of the fund, but I don't care. My ex thinks I'm being stupid and irresponsible wasting my son's money like this. I don't care. My son would laugh his ass off if he knew I actually did it. Am I the asshole?
No,
No.
not as
Did
good.
the dad have full custody? Was that said? I assumed so.
No, I think it was shared custody. Because they talked about
'Cause when I was
the
thinking-
stepdad paying for food and shelter.
Oh, okay, yeah. So shouldn't it technically be half and half then? Like if it was shared custody for the parents and the son passed, shouldn't it be half and half?
So I think this was the dad saving money to give to the son from this fund once he
okay.
got into college, but the son, it was accepted to college but never made it in.
So if it was the dad putting the money in, he should use it for whatever he wants if his son has died. Right? Common sense.
Well, it's also not even his stepson. It's his ex-wife's stepson.
Yeah, it's his son's stepbrother, but no relation to him. But she is asking for that money to go to her stepson that would have gone to her son.
No, she should have been putting money away for her own son. Like,
Yeah, or that dad
Son?
should have been doing it after he said he wouldn't pay for anything for like his kid. Like, yeah, no.
That is a little. I mean, the dad refers to the stepdad pretty well. He calls him decent, but it's an interesting dynamic that he says he made it clear that he wasn't responsible for any expenses for my son beyond food, shelter, and stuff. Obviously, so it sounds like he's applying the stepdad's own logic back at him.
that makes sense to me.
Here's the thing: this was posted 7 months ago, and he posted an update. Update on spending my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer with monks. Now, this is a little long. Hi, everyone. We are on our way to the airport and on our way to Barcelona. We will be going to Europe for a month. The visit to the monks at Westelvern will be the last part of our trip. 2 reasons. I don't want to lug beer bottles all over Spain, France, Belgium, and Holland. Also, I am putting it off for as long as I can. For those of you that asked, my son's name is Ryan. He was an amazing kid. I don't know if he got his love of the microscopic world from me. I did teach him how to make sourdough starter, and I will be keeping his memory alive to make loaves and waffles with. His ashes are in our yard on Mount Tremblant off the shores of St. Lawrence, and I will be taking some to Belgium. My grandfathers have many friends buried there, and I think they would approve. I thank everyone that offered to buy me a beer. While I appreciate the offer, I'm pretty sure my liver and my wife would not be happy with me. I will be with the monks on the week of June 23rd. If you would like to join me in a toast with your favorite drink of choice, I would love that more. I love knowing that people all around the world know about my son, and he would love knowing he was toasted in such a manner. I spoke with my ex-wife, my ex-wife's husband, and his son. I invited them to join us at my expense for the last week of the trip. My wife's stepson was friends with my son. I didn't know how close until we spoke. They are gaming buddies. They spoke every day playing online. He gave me a picture of my son I did not have. It is a picture of the two of them, age about 14 or 15, at my ex-wife's wedding to his father. My son looked great in a suit. I cried. He did too. We had a very awkward but heartfelt man hug. Then we laughed. They will be coming to say goodbye with us. After talking to my accountant and my lawyer, I was told that I could not have transferred him the value of the RESP. I have decided after talking to my wife that we are going to give him enough money to cover 1 year of tuition. Even after my trip, we will have money left over. I am trying to do some good with it. I also said he could call us anytime he needed, since he will be attending school close to us. So funny he got accepted here and my son was accepted there. I want to thank everyone who shared their condolences and want to especially thank everyone who helped me plan my visit to Belgium. I know we won't see each other, but you were invaluable. I don't think I'll have much to say after this. Maybe I will post an update after the trip. If he did post an update, I was unable to find it.
Turns out to be a happy ending for everybody then. I mean, that guy's super nice.
I think he went above and beyond.
Yeah, hella.
But I was thinking about this as I was reading. He said that the week while he was planning his son's funeral was when his ex-wife came to talk to him about the money. So like that, I don't like the ex-wife, I think. Again, it's from his perspective. He's telling it. He is the narrator, so we don't know how accurate everything is that he's telling us. But if that's true, like the week your son dies, you're worried about his scholarship fund and wanting to save the money while your ex-husband's planning the funeral. That doesn't sit right with me. And he still did so much for her son.
Well, she's out spending the husband's money on crack. Like, yeah, she needs her money. Of course.
Any final thoughts on that one?
The title made him seem like an asshole, but no, I don't think he was an asshole.
Yeah, I
I don't
tried.
even think so. I think I started this by saying my initial reaction was no, he's not.
Yeah, the titles can be pretty accurate, but they can also be a little misleading because there's a lot of nuance in some of these. Some of them are pretty straightforward.
I thought you said the stepson died
No.
and not his son. That's why I was confused for a second. That's why I needed a timeout to think that through.
Curb, any last thoughts before we move on?
We're right. Good work, team.
Good work.
Way to go, everybody. So now I'm going to read you another title, and I want you guys to tell me what your initial thoughts are, just off the title. Am I the asshole for not giving my sister my wife's clothes? Any guesses just from the title?
No.
The wife's either dead. Okay, if the wife's dead, then the sister's the asshole. If the wife's no, hold on. If the wife's dead, then he's probably being an asshole hanging on to her clothes. If she's not dead, then I think the sister's probably being an asshole.
Okay, so if the wife's dead, he's an asshole. If she's not dead, the sister's an asshole.
Yeah, probably.
They're married.
He said, not giving my sister my wife's clothes.
Okay, he's not an asshole. Because once you're married, technically, if she dies or whatever happens, they're his.
That's
There's lots of feelings. Yeah.
that's from a legal standpoint. Ownership does go to him, but the law doesn't make you an asshole. The internet court makes you an asshole.
That's us.
That's us. All right, let's get into it. My wife was a corporate lawyer and mediator. She had some very nice work clothes. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and was gone in 2 years.
You were right. The wife does die.
We're really just
Yeah.
getting deep into the depths here.
We're going
Are there any
fast.
happy ones?
And
Real?
no, well, maybe. There's one that I kind of like. Anyway, I'm going to start from the beginning. My wife was a corporate lawyer and mediator. She had some very nice work clothes. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and was gone in 2 years. The last 6 months of her life were hell. My sister Sarah didn't do jack shit for us during that time. My wife never liked her. I do not like her. She is a selfish cow. At my wife's wake, she started asking about my wife's clothes, and I brushed her off. She wanted to pick out a few pieces to remember my wife by, and I ignored her. It's been 6 months, and I'm attending my mom's birthday, but I'm still not in the mood to deal with people. Then Sarah comes asking about my wife's clothes. I told her my wife wanted me to donate them to this women's shelter that she often helped. It will help women in need with their own court cases, court appointments, and job interviews. My sister Sarah said my wife was selfish even in death. I asked her what the fuck did she mean? And she started going off on how my wife always thought she was better than her, and it's not fair that her clothes are going to charity and not to family. I told my sister I would rather see my wife's clothes lit on fire than on her back. My sister started crying, and my mom came over to see what's wrong. My mom told me to be easy on my sister because she was taking my wife's deaths hard. The fucking insanity of that coming out of my mom's mouth made me grab my gift and leave. My mom acts like I had to ruin her birthday by being melodramatic, but I cannot believe their emotional backlash towards me over fucking clothes that they have no right to. He did leave one comment a little bit lower that says, I know it was my mom's birthday and I was rude to everyone at it over the clothes, so am I the asshole?
Oh, for just the
Yeah.
birthday party, nothing else.
Just for flipping out at his mom's birthday party, I guess is the only part he's concerned about, but he gave us the whole story.
He probably didn't need to say the "I'd rather have them burn than see them on your back." I mean, the sister is completely in the wrong in the asshole here.
She asked
But
at
he
the
probably could have
wake.
just been like, "Nah, fuck you," and walked away instead of going for the full dramatics.
He really sent
But I
it.
feel like I feel like if she's been asking for a bit at some point, you gotta like freaking make sure she knows the answer's no. Maybe
Well,
that wasn't the
I-
right place to do it, but I
Yeah,
still
maybe-
don't think he's in the wrong.
No, he's not in the wrong. He just snapped at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's
I
kind of
like
crazy
John's
because the
answer.
timeline, she first asked at the wife's wake.
Yeah,
That's
no, that's
crazy.
And then the way he says it, it implies that he hasn't seen her since then, and then sees her again at the mom's birthday, and she asked again.
What did she want the clothes for anyway? Like,
herself.
Just to have.
She said it was nice. He said it was
There's
like nice
legal clothes.
lawyer clothes, so it's probably just like some really nice stuff, and that she's probably
go
like,
get a job, right? Go get a job. Go try and be a lawyer yourself, right? Go get some lawyer clothes then, and then you can have your own. You don't gotta
that's
share.
not free.
Life ain't free. Get a job, you bum.
Yeah, but why would she give him to charity when she could give him to family, who is, quote, a selfish cow?
Is she fat? I kind of want to see a picture of this woman now.
No pictures were included. All right. So final verdict is, who do you think is assholes in this situation?
Asshole? Yes.
The sister.
You think
Yeah.
the sister is the sister the only asshole?
I'm okay. I don't think the mom is. I think the mom was just trying to simmer things down.
I think the
His father doesn't
mom
wanna see
But
her
she's still
children
wrong.
fighting.
She's still wrong.
Right.
the
But
the mom said to him that he should be easier on his sister because she's taking his wife's death hard.
But like,
maybe
his
she thought
sister-
they were friends. Maybe the mom didn't know their
Maybe they were
relationship.
lovers.
His sister
Oh, shut
could
up,
be
it comes
doing
out
the
soon.
thing of where she's like very much overreacting about this thing that, you know, like one of those people that like something bad happens and they're just like, oh my gosh, this horrible thing has happened to me. And it's just really going on about it. And then you're like, you didn't actually really care or know this person. You're just like, oh, this
What-
horrible thing has happened.
Was
And,
it,
you know,
is
she's
it
just
virtue signaling? Is that the term?
maybe
Maybe I'm just throwing around jargon, but I thought the term was virtue signaling.
I'm Googling it.
I might just be saying buzzwords.
The public expression of opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or social conscience or moral correctness of one's position on a particular issue.
So kind of.
Yeah.
All right. So we vote sister asshole. He's not an asshole, even for doing it at mom's birthday. Is mom an asshole?
No, she just is
Yeah,
probably
no, I-
confused.
She
Oh,
was doing
I don't-
her mom's job, right? Of
I think
trying
Kim
to simmer things
disagrees.
down. But she was wrong for doing it because
Yeah.
the sister was wrong. But she doesn't want to come out and say, "Oh yeah, you're wrong." Like I'm sure behind closed doors, she's gonna say, "Listen, you were 100% wrong. That was 6 months ago. Drop it."
yeah,
just-
but I feel like you gotta have the widowers back at any given time. If you side with the person whose spouse died, you're probably more in the right. Just as like a general rule of thumb,
maybe she had a favorite child.
maybe.
I don't think it
Sister does
necessarily
sound
her being an
entitled.
asshole, especially if she didn't get the full context of the situation. That's the other thing. We don't know. She just walked in on her daughter crying and like the siblings standing there. So she may have not even gotten the full context of the situation when she said that.
Always the brother's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. So the mom's still like fucked up in the situation, but
Okay, so just the
there
sister's
an
the
update?
asshole. There, unfortunately, I can only find a comment he left, no update,
Damn.
and it was just specifying that he was conflicted because it was his mom's birthday and he was rude to everyone at the party.
Now I was 100% joking, but if it turned out like they were like secretly in love with each other before he married her, I
Who?
can see her point. The sister.
Oh, the sister was no. They hated each other.
because they had a
Did
bad
they say
breakup.
they hate each other?
Yes, it said, and I quote,
What was all that?
"My wife never liked her."
Okay. Well, whatever.
Whatever, John.
They
That's
like
why
each other.
That's
I
why
can
she
see
thinks
her
she would be entitled to the dead wife's clothes. if
The
they never got
sister-
along
She's not-
anyway.
I mean, I couldn't see her being entitled, but I can see her
Absurd.
being like, I loved her, blah, 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 blah. I just want to remember her, blah, 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 blah.
I think the
That's
sister
okay.
sounds entitled, and I think the mom's behavior encourages the entitlement from the sister.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
That's fair.
All right, moving on to more sister-in-law drama. Are you ready? We're moving to a vacation that is very near and dear to my heart because I just got back from it. Am I the asshole for sending an email to the rest of the family about about sister-in-law's behavior on vacation? And this is from 2 years ago. Doesn't give us much on the intro. Any thoughts before we dive in?
Why is it an email?
An email? Yeah, like
This was in
Is he saying-
2022, so
are you
it's not
saying
like
mom
it
and
was.
dad?
I guess so. Let's get into it.
I will say the one thing I know from like all family emails is those are just made to start drama, so I am immediately not on this person's side.
All right, let's get into this. My husband and I decided to bring our 2 kids to Disney World for 4 days now that they are old enough to appreciate it. My husband and I are not in the best of shape, so we decided to invite his sister and her husband along with us. We have 2 separate rooms. We assumed we would spend our time in the parks together since it was, after all, a family vacation. The first day in the park, we all did a few attractions together, but then when we went to bring the kids to meet some of the characters, she said she and her husband had other things in the park they wanted to do, and they would meet back up with us. We didn't see them until dinner after we watched the fireworks together and then went back to the hotel. The second day, we went to Epcot, and they stuck around with us until the afternoon, but then split up with us again to drink around the world. When we met up with them for dinner, they were clearly very tipsy in front of the kids. Very mature. That's the sentence. Very mature, period. When we got back to the hotel that night, I knocked on their door after the kids were asleep. I asked them if they were going to spend any time with the family on this vacation and told them running around an amusement park with kids all day is exhausting and we could use help. She claimed that the time they were spending with us was enough, but they wanted to do their own thing too. She made a rude comment that she didn't take days off of work to be our babysitter. The next 2 days, we didn't speak to them at all. They did their own thing, and we did ours with our kids. We didn't see them again until the flight home, which was awkward. I was so upset that they ruined the experience for our kids who were looking forward to spending time with their aunt that when I got home, I wrote an email to our immediate family about the experience, and at the end told them that this was the reason we would be going low contact with sister-in-law. I included sister-in-law on the email sent and went to sleep. Woke up to a ton of angry texts from my husband's family calling me ridiculous. I just assumed she would spend time with my family on family vacation. Clearly, she doesn't value family. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't go on vacation and expect your family to babysit your kids. What the heck?
Well, why not?
Yeah,
'Cause
listen,
they're
Karen,
your
you gotta
kids.
sit your fat ass down. All right, go find a bench in the park. Right, put a leash on your kids, not mine. Okay, and we're gonna have a good time. That's it.
In my opinion, if you're going on like a vacation to like a big amusement park anyways, your family is gonna split off into groups anyways, and then like you all like meet up like at the end of the night for like a meal. Like it's still a family vacation. You don't have to hang out the whole time anyways. Like they sound like they were like, we wanted to spend all the time with you so you could watch our kids.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like they wanted free childcare.
How old were the kids?
She didn't
Did
specify.
they say that?
No.
I think regardless of everything
They
that
said old
happened
enough
in the
to
park
appreciate it.
and the drama between them, I think sending an email about it does officially just make them the asshole because they have now involved the entire family in like what was initially a back and forth between like them.
I do have one stipulation that we don't have an answer to, but I think it may lean me towards the OP's side. OP is the poster. They said, my husband and I are not in the best shape, so we decided to invite his sister and her husband along with us. If that meant that they paid for them to go along, there's an aspect of like, I think you should spend the vacation with the people who paid for it if they're paying your whole way. But if they just invited them along and the sister-in-law paid for everything, then that's their vacation. They do whatever they want.
I think regardless, the email is still extremely unnecessary.
Yeah, the
I'm with
email
Debbie on
does.
that one.
Yeah.
Email does push it to asshole levels, but I'd understand her frustration a little bit more if she paid for them to go and they were like ditching her for half the vacation.
See, here's the thing. At first, when you said they're out of shape or not in good shape, I didn't think of like weight. I thought of like their relationship is bad. That's what I thought first. But then I was like, oh wait, maybe he means overweight. But there's a lot of walking there. So I get that.
I think they just meant they couldn't
Regardless.
keep up with the kids running around very well.
Yeah, regardless, your kids get a dog leash. All right, that's all I gotta say. Parent them better. Lose some weight. You need it.
It does very much feel like the expectation was that they would take care of their kids for a large portion of the vacation.
No, that's not what that means. No, we're not doing that.
Also,
we had
saying that
to take time. Sorry. Go ahead.
saying that they completely ruined the children's experience by not being there also feels extreme.
That is a little crazy. I agree. That I doubt the kids notice. They're at Disney World. You think they're going to care about if Aunt Sarah is there or whatever?
Corporate Karen over here sending emails to the family.
Yeah.
about the
So this was
family vacation.
2 years old. So this was 2022. She's sending out a family email to everyone after vacation. The verdict on
I would
Reddit
love to see the email.
was reposted from Am I the Asshole to Am I the Devil. They were that infuriated with her. She didn't get an official rating on Am I the Devil, but on Am I the Asshole, she was rated as the asshole. Do we all agree?
Yes.
All right. That's going to bring us to our final story for today. Now, this one, I'm curious if any you have firsthand experience with this, but I'll just go into it. And I want to hear first impressions. Am I the asshole for making the Age of Empires 2 New Villager sound when my wife gave birth to our first child?
Can I hear the sound, please? I just want to
Yeah.
hear the sound. Let me get that sound, please.
I had the sound ready.
Okay.
It's pretty not like it's it's not very noticeable. It almost sounds like Lamaze breathing if you're in a birth room already.
You did that to her?
Well, let's find out. But before we get any more details, any first thoughts?
I think it's hilarious. He just thought it out on the spot. I think that's funny. Whoever did it, I would have just busted up laughing.
Do either of you two have any thoughts before we dive into this?
No.
Not yet.
All right. Let's dive in. I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. Just over a week ago, my wife gave birth to our first child. I got called about it during work and rushed to the hospital to be with her during labor. It was obviously a stressful time as it took more than 15 hours from start to end. But finally, our little one was born and was healthy. I was in the room for nearly the entire time, other than briefly heading out for food, toilet, etc., holding her hand and being the punching bag as she swore during certain times during the worst of it. As it was getting towards the end, just as the head was coming out, and it all happened very quickly from then, more medical staff came into the room, and I am someone who gets very nervous around lots of people. Because of that nervousness, I was talking a bit more, introducing myself to new people coming in, making jokes, saying, I hope it's not a bad omen that the weather is so bad, because a thunderstorm had started outside that we could hear. And then our baby finally came out fully. At that second, I made the Age of Empires reference. Age of Empires 2, New Villager sound, as a joke. But I only think my wife understood the reference, as the doctors and nurses gave no reaction. And the look she gave me could have sunk 1,000 ships. She looked so angry. Before then seeing our little one and finally smiling. But didn't look at me for about half an hour, and even then was really annoyed for the rest of the day. Anyway, I thought it was a joke that went down badly in the moment because of high anxiety, but my wife has twice in the past week told me that I ruined a moment that she hoped would be one of the best of her life. I have apologized both times, but she has this look I've seen before. This look I've never seen before. Something beyond disappointment. It's really put a downer on the past 9 days of what I thought would be the happiest of our time together, after what was obviously a very stressful time, for her mostly, of course. Am I the asshole?
Yes. Only because I personally think, like, people who carry babies very much so want a specific birth. You hear about it all the time. Like, here's my birth plan. I've been planning this for months. You have this idea, this vision in your head of how you want it to go. And for it to be, like, ruined by, like, some silly jokes just because your husband can't shut the frick up for, like, a little while would honestly piss me off so much. But, like, I'm an emotional person, so I'm like, if I was carrying a baby, I was having a baby, and it didn't go my way, someone would die. Just saying. Like, I'm so
Would it be Brogan?
for-
Or would it just be whoever's nearest to you to grab?
Whoever's closest.
You need to shut up if Kim ever has a baby.
Guys, don't worry, I'm never having children.
We have initial concerns that are going to happen first if Kim does ever have a baby, because
No, we're gonna have to be like, Brogan, you need to not speak during this time.
Okay, but that's why I can't have a baby, because that would be me the entire pregnancy. If nobody's allowed to breathe on me, speak to me, eat near me, like, I already have sensory issues. It'd be like this while I was pregnant.
I'm sorry. I think just in case I put this on YouTube later, I want to put some context. Kim's husband is in chat right now, and he just goes, and you wonder why I got fixed.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, that explains why he got the snip.
Real though.
I actually think it was a cute thing the husband did, because I understand what it's like being uncomfortable for 15 hours or so, very recently. But anyway, he tried to make a lighthearted thing that only them two understood. So they're both gamers, right?
I was going
tried
to say,
to
she
make
is
her
the only
little-
one in the room who understood, so she had to be familiar enough with the game to recognize that.
He wanted to do something cute and special that they just both understood. And if I'm her or him, we're just looking at each other and laughing.
You're applying a lot of sentiment to this when he specifically says that it was just because he was nervous.
Whether he was nervous or not, he did it. It was cute. Only they got it.
Brogan
Gotta
asked a
help
good
other
question
people.
in chat. What is John comparing to birth as 15 hours of uncomfortable?
Well, I guess it's not as uncomfortable. Driving 15 hours, that's very uncomfortable. But it's not the same as birth.
Oh, no,
Same,
that's the exact same thing. You're so right. Guys have it hard.
Exactly the same, but it's tough. It's very tough. I understand what she's going through.
I don't know what women are complaining about with these 15-hour labor things. I once drove for 15 hours. Men have it harder. So what if you pushed a watermelon size out of a golf ball sized hole in your body? I sat on my ass and pressed and let cruise control drive for 15 hours. I'm just going to cut you off for your own sake, John. Curb, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I don't necessarily think he's an asshole for doing it. I do think that like during birth and then post birth there are a lot of hormone imbalance for the woman giving the birth. That I think she might be overreacting, but she may also, she just went through a birth. So I don't know if I can necessarily call her an asshole for it either. I think she's just going through a lot right now.
I can call her an asshole for bringing it up twice in the past week, though. Like, I get it. At that time, during the moment, I get it. 100%. You're already pissed off.
I feel so
tired,
bad for John's
exhausted.
future wife.
Kim's face in that was wild.
But like weeks later, you're gonna bring it up. Like, come on, dude. You knew it was a joke. It was something we shared. Like, come on. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Where he said, "Hey, Doc, you're in there more than I am." He didn't say that. It could have been worse.
I'm going to cut John off for his own sake here. I can appreciate where the husband is coming from. That it is a million times worse for the person giving birth, but it is a very emotional time for anyone becoming a new parent. And to be in a situation, they said it was their first child, so it's a situation you've never been in before, to feel uncomfortable for that long, you're sleep deprived, you say something stupid in the moment that you didn't mean, but it just came out, and it's now affecting that moment for the rest of your life. No matter how mentally aware you were in that moment after a 15-hour being awake with your wife for 15 hours. City came from work, so it wasn't like first thing in the morning that they went in. 15 hours during the work after he got called in during the work day. So he's probably been up overnight. Doctors are coming in and out, nurses coming in and out. To let out a joke that not even inappropriate, just not well timed, and then it have that effect for the rest of your life. It's very unfortunate. I don't know if it makes him an asshole, but I can completely understand how the wife would say that it's ruining that moment for her, because now the first thing that comes into her mind, the first thing she experienced when giving birth, about to see her child for the first time, was just a and that's got to be tough.
It is funny though.
It is very funny. Like, you just think of that and you just laugh. I don't know. That's just me, I guess.
But she did get it, so she's a gamer at least. She understood the reference. But I think that might even make it worse, because you could probably play it off if she didn't get it. All right, so I'm just curious, who do we think is the biggest asshole from today?
The one that sent the email.
The husband that fucking
There was a
threw the
lot.
food in the trash. He still thinks.
What about the first one with the twin sister? That was also bad.
No, I think the email.
The email's pretty bad.
Email and the cook is top. See,
email was bad. I do not think email is the worst we've heard today.
I think it was the sister
email
over the dead wife's clothes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Email.
I think that one was the worst one.
That I think was, oh gosh, I still think it was the first one. The guy, the one that John didn't think was an asshole. The guy who was sleeping with his dead wife's twin sister a month after she died.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was really bad too.
I think that was the worst, the most assholey of. Yeah, the most assholey of asshole. No, John didn't think he was an asshole. That was my vote.
So was.
All right, that was my final vote. Curb, what was your final vote for biggest asshole?
I'm gonna stick with the email, even though I know it's not the email. I'm just really mad that they sent an email, to the entire family.
John, what was your final asshole?
Invite that person back to any family gathering.
Yeah.
You said the cook?
Yeah.
That was bad.
Threw the food away because of the salt.
And then Kim, what was your final asshole?
I think I agree with you. It was the man that got with the dead wife's twin sister a month after she was gone.
Regardless of who you think is the biggest asshole, all these people decided to willingly post these stories on the internet of themselves to be judged by us. And so that's what we're doing.
And that's what makes them the biggest asshole. They're Redditors.
We're going to move on and say thank you all for joining us today in Internet Court. We have sentenced those who needed it, and now court is adjourned.
We did it!
Woo!